Imagine a land where every sunrise paints the mountains in gold, where rivers carve valleys older than history, and where cities whisper stories that have survived centuries. Welcome to a country that defies expectations, where beauty hides in every corner, sometimes in the vast wilderness, sometimes in the quiet streets of a centuries-old village. From rugged cliffs to shimmering lakes, from vibrant markets to hidden cultural treasures, this journey will take you beyond what postcards show into the very soul of a land that feels alive. You will hear the laughter of children, the songs of musicians, and the stories of people who have lived here for generations. This is more than a travel documentary. This is an invitation to see, feel, and experience a country in a way few ever do. Prepare yourself for breathtaking landscapes, unforgettable encounters, and moments that will stay with you long after the screen goes dark. Because in this land, every step is a story, every view a masterpiece, and every heartbeat a connection. Imagine a country so visually breathtaking that every landscape feels like a scene from a movie, yet most of the world still knows nothing about it. Explore the opening contrasts: mountains, coastlines, ancient towns, and untouched nature. Set the tone for a cinematic journey revealing a country more stunning than most travelers expect. What if I told you that somewhere in Europe, hidden between the familiar tourist trails, lies a country so visually staggering that every moment feels like stepping into a moving painting? A place where the mountains rise like ancient guardians, where rivers carve emerald paths through untouched valleys, and where villages and cities whisper stories older than empires. Most people will never see it, but today, you will. This is the beginning of a cinematic journey into what might be the most stunning country in Europe, one that doesn't just impress your eyes, but overwhelms your entire sense of wonder. The story of this land doesn't begin with a monument, a city, or a date. It begins with something deeper. Its raw, elemental beauty. Before the first human ever set foot here, nature had already crafted a masterpiece. Towering peaks shaped by ice and wind. Forests so dense they look like rolling waves of green, stretching all the way to the horizon. Lakes that reflect the sky perfectly, turning into giant mirrors during calm mornings. Landscapes sculpted over centuries, untouched, unhurried, and unbelievably cinematic. As dawn breaks, the first light spills over the mountains, creating a golden glow that feels almost supernatural. In the silence of early morning, mist rises from the valleys like soft smoke drifting into the sky. You can hear nothing but the wind, the distant call of birds, and the gentle movement of nature waking up. It is in these moments you begin to realize this is not the Europe shown in travel brochures. This is Europe in its purest, most unfiltered form. The beauty here has many faces. On one side, rugged mountains dominate the horizon. Sharp, dramatic, and impossibly grand. On another side, open meadows unfold like green carpets under the sun, merging with the edges of dark pine forests. Hidden within these woods are trails that lead to waterfalls, caves, or sudden clearings that reveal entire valleys from above. These are the kinds of places where the world feels bigger, where even a single breath feels different, cleaner, calmer, fuller. As you move across this landscape, you discover that this country is not defined by one site or one region. Every step offers something new. A sudden bend in the road reveals a cliffside viewpoint with sweeping panoramas. A narrow forest path leads to a lake so still it looks frozen, even when it isn't. A remote hilltop gives you a glimpse of distant villages glowing under the afternoon light. In places like this, you don't just watch the scenery, you become part of it. But the real magic is in how fast the scenery transforms. One moment, you're surrounded by mountains that tower like stone giants. The next, you descend into a valley painted with rivers and grazing fields. Continue further, and you reach a landscape that feels like a different world, entirely warmer, quieter, dotted with vineyards or ancient stone settlements. This diversity is what makes the journey so mesmerizing. You never know what waits just over the next horizon. What makes this land truly special isn't only the landscapes you can see, it's the ones you can feel. There is a sense of mystery in the wind, a kind of peaceful solitude that pulls you inward. Whether you stand on a cliff edge overlooking endless green, or walk along a river as it glitters under sunlight, there is a moment where everything becomes still. And in that stillness, the beauty of this place reveals itself fully. It is not loud. It is not trying to impress. It simply exists, powerful, deep, and unforgettable. This is the entrance to a world that many travelers overlook but never forget once they witness it. A world shaped by nature, preserved by time, and waiting to be explored. As we continue on this cinematic journey, each chapter will reveal a new layer: mountains that touch the sky, rivers that carve legends, ancient towns frozen in history, and coastlines so striking they don't seem real. But it all starts here, in the silence of the wild. In this moment, where nature stands untouched and unfiltered, in a land that may very well be the most stunning country in Europe. And this is only the beginning. Some places make you feel small, not because they're intimidating, but because they're overwhelmingly beautiful. Showcase the country's most dramatic peaks, alpine lakes, hiking trails, and cinematic aerial views. Emphasize the untouched, raw beauty. There are mountains, and then there are mountains that feel alive. Peaks so grand, so dramatic, that they don't just stand in the landscape, they dominate it, watching silently over everything below. These are the mountains that shape a country's identity, the kind that make travelers stop mid-journey, unable to look away. And in this nation, these mountains are more than a natural wonder, they are the beating heart of its beauty. If the story of this land begins in its valleys, then its soul lives up here, where the sky feels close enough to touch. Climbing into these elevations is like slowly entering another world. With every turn in the road, the temperature cools, the air sharpens, and the silence deepens. Trees become taller and thicker, wrapping the mountainsides like an emerald blanket. Rivers turn into narrow streams that dance beside the road, following you as you drive higher. By the time you reach the mountain passes, the valleys below look like miniature worlds carved into the earth, reminding you of just how immense and powerful these landscapes truly are. The first light of morning is the best companion in the mountains. As the sun rises, it casts long golden beams across the ridges, revealing shapes and shadows you couldn't see in the night. It stretches across the rocky faces, touches the tops of ancient forests, and slowly wakes up the world beneath. In that moment, everything feels sacred. A quiet sunrise here is not just a view. It is an experience that stays with you long after you've left. The deeper you travel into this high-altitude world, the more dramatic the scenery becomes. Some peaks rise gently, rolling like soft waves frozen in stone. Others tear into the sky with jagged edges, forming silhouettes that look like something from another planet. These are the mountains that capture the imagination, places where time seems to slow down and every sound echoes back with clarity. Along winding paths, you discover alpine lakes shimmering like polished glass. Their surfaces are so clear that they reflect the mountains perfectly, creating a mirror image so sharp that it becomes hard to tell where the water ends and the sky begins. Travelers often sit quietly at the edge of these lakes, simply absorbing the moment, because nothing needs to be said here. Nature speaks for itself. Further up, small wooden huts appear, some abandoned, others still used by shepherds who bring their animals to graze in summer. These shelters stand as reminders of a way of life shaped by the mountains, where seasons dictate everything and survival requires harmony with nature. From these heights, you see the world differently. It's not about rushing or noise or urgency. Up here, life moves according to the rhythm of the earth. Then there are the viewpoints, those incredible ledges that offer sweeping panoramas stretching for miles. You stand on the edge, with the wind brushing past, and the entire landscape opens beneath you. Valleys layered with mist, rivers glowing silver in the distance, peaks stacked one after another, fading from deep greens to pale blues as they disappear into the horizon. These are the moments where words fall short and emotions take over. The beauty of these mountains is not just visual, it's deeply emotional. There is something powerful about standing in a place shaped over millions of years, knowing that generations before you stood here too, overwhelmed by the same feeling. It's humbling, grounding, and strangely comforting. Nature, in this form, makes you realize how vast the world is and how fortunate you are to witness it. As the day continues, the mountains reveal new colors. Afternoon light warms the rocks, giving them a soft glow. The forests come alive with shades of green, each tree adding a different texture to the scene. As dusk approaches, shadows grow long and deep, and the sky transforms into a canvas of orange, purple, and blue. It is during sunset that the mountains feel most dramatic, almost theatrical, as if performing a final show before night falls. And when night finally arrives, the mountains fall into a silence so absolute that you can hear your own heartbeat. If the sky is clear, stars fill it so densely that it feels like you're standing under a dome of shimmering lights. In these moments, the mountains don't just impress, they transform you. They remind you of the beauty of stillness, the importance of space, and the power of nature that needs nothing to be magnificent. These mountains hold stories, secrets, and a timeless beauty that defines this country. They are the guardians of its landscapes, the protectors of its traditions, and the reason so many travelers fall in love with this land. This chapter of our journey shows that the country's most stunning views aren't just found, they are felt. And as we leave the heights behind and descend into the river valleys below, one thing becomes clear. The beauty of this place only grows deeper with every step forward. If you want to understand a place, follow its rivers, they reveal everything. Explore winding canyons, emerald waters, rafting spots, waterfalls, and ancient valleys that shaped culture and settlement. If mountains are the pillars of this land, then its rivers are the veins that give it life. They carve through stone, shape valleys, nourish forests, and hold stories older than memory itself. And in this country, the rivers aren't just waterways, they are legends in motion. Some whisper gently, flowing like threads of silver. Others roar through deep canyons with unstoppable force. But all of them, no matter how calm or wild, reveal something essential about the soul of this land. Follow the rivers here, and you will uncover secrets hidden from the world. The journey begins where the water is born, high in the mountains, where melting snow gathers into small streams. These streams weave down through forests, joining with others until they become rivers that twist and turn through the heart of the country. When sunlight hits the surface, the water glows in shades of emerald and turquoise, so bright they look unreal. On quiet mornings, mist hovers just above the surface, creating a dreamlike atmosphere as if the river itself is breathing. As you move along these waters, you begin to notice something extraordinary. Every river has its own personality. Some flow gently through open meadows, past wooden bridges and grazing animals. Their pace is slow, peaceful, almost meditative. Travelers who stop here find themselves sitting silently on the riverbank, listening to the soft ripple of water as it moves around stones and fallen branches. There's a calming rhythm here, a reminder that life doesn't always have to rush. Then there are the dramatic rivers, those that carve through ancient canyons of limestone and granite. These canyons look as if they were sliced open by a giant hand, their vertical walls rising hundreds of meters above the water. Sunlight struggles to reach the deepest parts, leaving sections in mystical shadow. Along the cliffs, small caves open like dark windows into the earth. Eagles circle above, riding the updrafts. Griffin vultures glide in silence. And down below, the river pushes forward with a determination that has shaped this land for millions of years. Standing at the edge of these canyons, you feel the true power of nature. The echo of rushing water bounces off the rock walls, surrounding you in sound. The air is cooler here, filled with the scent of wet stone and moss. If you look closely, you'll see narrow pathways carved into the cliffs by generations of shepherds and travelers. These paths seem almost impossible, thin, rugged, suspended between sky and earth. But they are reminders that people here have always lived in rhythm with the land, not against it. Further along the river, the landscape widens again. Villages appear like small islands of life among the greenery. Traditional wooden houses sit near the water's edge, their reflections dancing on the surface. Locals often gather along the riverbanks, fishing, talking, or simply watching the world drift by. It is in these simple moments that you understand how deeply connected people are to their rivers. They are not just geographic features, they are part of daily life, part of tradition, part of identity. But the rivers also hold places that feel almost mythical. Hidden waterfalls appear suddenly as you turn a corner, crashing down into crystal pools. Some fall softly, like silver curtains. Others thunder with incredible force, creating clouds of mist that cool the air around them. Many travelers find themselves reaching out to feel the spray on their skin, grounding themselves in the reality of a place that feels almost too beautiful to believe. There are also parts of the rivers that reveal the quieter stories of time. Carved stones shaped by centuries of flowing water. Tree roots gripping tightly onto cliff edges. Moss-covered rocks that have watched the seasons change endlessly. These small details often go unnoticed at first, but once you see them, you realize they are just as captivating as the grand landscapes. As the sun begins to set, the rivers transform again. The water turns to gold, then to deep orange, reflecting the sky like molten metal. Birds return to their nests, and the surrounding forests grow quieter. The sound of the river becomes more pronounced, filling the air with its steady rhythm. It is during this hour that the rivers feel most alive, not rushing, not roaring, but simply existing in perfect harmony with the world around them. By night, when the moon rises, the rivers look like glowing ribbons weaving through the darkness. Their surfaces shimmer, catching the faintest light. The nearby towns dim their lights, and everything becomes still. In these moments, you understand why so many legends were born from these waters. Stories of spirits, heroes, ancient journeys, and natural forces beyond human imagination. These rivers carve more than just the land, they carve emotion. They guide us through the inner heart of the country, revealing a landscape sculpted by time, powered by nature, and enriched by history. And as we follow their journey, one thing becomes clear. To understand this country, you must understand its waters. Because every river here doesn't just flow, it tells a story. Some cities don't just tell history, they make you feel like you stepped straight into it. A look into fortresses, old towns, medieval streets, and preserved architecture capture the timeless soul of the country's oldest settlements. Imagine standing in a place where time seems to slow down, where every step feels like walking through a living painting, and every turn reveals a landscape more breathtaking than the last. This is the part of Europe most travelers dream of, but only a few truly experience. In this chapter, we go deeper into the heart of this stunning country, discovering the hidden worlds tucked behind its postcard-perfect beauty. If you thought the previous chapters were mesmerizing, what you're about to witness will change everything. As we leave the bustling charm of the cities, the scenery begins to transform. Roads narrow, the air grows fresher, and the sound of nature begins to overpower the noise of civilization. The countryside opens like a grand cinematic shot, rolling hills washed in golden sunlight, vineyards stretching like threads of emerald across the earth, and tiny villages that feel frozen in a happier, simpler time. This is where the soul of the country lives, far from crowds and far from the rush of modern life. The first stop is the kind of place you could easily miss on a map, yet unforgettable once you see it in person. Stone cottages wrapped in ivy, small bridges arching over crystal-clear streams, and the soft echo of church bells drifting across the valley. You watch as locals tend to their gardens, share conversations over wooden fences, and greet strangers with genuine warmth. There's a rhythm here, gentle, peaceful, and unbroken by centuries of change. It's a reminder that beauty is not always loud. Sometimes it whispers. Then the landscape shifts again. Mountains rise in the distance, peaks dusted with white like powdered sugar. You travel closer, and the scenery begins to feel almost unreal. Dense forests stretch across the slopes, lakes shine like mirrors reflecting the sky, and waterfalls tumble down cliffs like silver ribbons. The closer you get, the more you understand why filmmakers and photographers are drawn here. It's nature, in its purest form, untouched, wild, and effortlessly perfect. The journey takes you deeper into the mountains, on roads that curve like brushstrokes across the rugged terrain. As the elevation rises, the views become more dramatic. Valleys open beneath you, dotted with farms and meadows, and the wind carries the scent of pine and earth. This is a side of Europe most travelers never explore, a side that belongs on the big screen, not just in travel guides. Every moment feels like stepping into a scene crafted with precision, color, and emotion. At one viewpoint, you stop. Silence surrounds you. The horizon stretches endlessly, mountains layered in soft shades of blue and purple. Clouds drift slowly overhead, casting giant shadows across the land. Standing there, it becomes clear why this country is often described as stunning. It's not just because of the landscapes, but because of how these places make you feel small, in awe, connected to something far bigger than yourself. But this chapter isn't just about scenery, it's about discovery. Hidden between the valleys are ancient traditions still alive, passed down through generations. Small workshops where artisans carve wood by hand, bakeries where recipes haven't changed in 100 years, and festivals that bring entire communities together. These traditions give the landscapes depth. They give the country heart. And they remind you that beauty is not only what you see, it's what you experience. As the sun begins to set, the mountains glow in warm shades of orange and pink. The last light touches the rooftops of the villages below, turning them into tiny lanterns scattered across the darkening valley. It's the kind of moment you never want to end, the kind you replay in your mind long after the journey is over. This is Europe at its most cinematic, its most emotional, and its most unforgettable. And as night falls, one truth becomes clear. The deeper you explore, the more this country reveals. And what it reveals is nothing short of extraordinary. Most travelers think they've seen Europe's best beaches until they come here. Explore transparent waters, hidden bays, dramatic cliffs, and coastal villages with cinematic sunrise, sunset scenes. What if I told you that the most breathtaking moments of this journey aren't found in famous landmarks or crowded tourist spots, but in the quiet, untouched corners where nature feels alive, ancient, and almost magical? This chapter takes you to a place where the world slows down, where every sound, every color, and every breath feels heightened. If you're ready to witness the soul of this country in its purest form, then follow me. The morning begins with the soft glow of sunrise painting the horizon. A gentle mist rises from the earth, curling around the trees like something from a dream. You step into a forest that looks as if it has existed since the beginning of time. Towering trunks, moss-covered stones, and rays of golden light slipping through the branches. Every footstep is cushioned by a carpet of fallen leaves. It's quiet enough to hear your own heartbeat, yet alive with the faint rustling of wildlife. Walking through this forest feels like entering a sacred space, untouched by noise, untouched by hurry. As the path winds deeper, the forest opens into a hidden clearing. And there, reflecting the sky like a flawless sheet of glass, is a lake so still, it looks unreal. The surface is perfectly mirrored, capturing the shape of mountains, clouds, and the rising sun. You stand at the shore, feeling the cool breeze brush past your skin. The silence is astonishing. No cars, no chatter, just the gentle sound of water touching the shore. This place feels like nature's secret, quiet, powerful, unforgettable. You follow a wooden trail along the water, where the light plays across the surface in shimmering patterns. The lake narrows into a turquoise river, moving gently through a gorge carved by centuries of flowing water. The sound shifts from soft ripples to a deeper, echoing rush. Massive stone walls rise on both sides, textured by wind and time. If this were a scene in a movie, it would be the moment you pause, take a deep breath, and realize how small you are compared to the world around you. But the journey doesn't stop here. As you move forward, the gorge opens into a valley surrounded by snow-capped peaks. The transition feels almost magical. The colors shift from deep greens to bright whites and icy blues. The temperature cools, the air becomes crisp, and the mountains stand tall like ancient guardians watching over the land. Their presence is overwhelming yet comforting, as if they've been here long before us and will remain long after. In the small village nestled at the foot of these giants, life follows a different rhythm. Wooden houses with steep roofs sit quietly beneath the peaks. Smoke rises from chimneys. The scent of warm bread drifts through the air. A few locals gather outside, greeting one another with the warmth of people who truly know their neighbors. There's something deeply grounding about this place. No rush, no noise. Just living peaceful, steady, and connected to the land. A local guide leads you to a trail that climbs gently along the mountainside. As you ascend, the view behind you expands: dense forests, winding rivers, tiny houses, and fields glowing under the sunlight. Every few steps, you stop just to take it in. Higher and higher you climb, until the world below looks like a painted landscape. The wind whistles softly, carrying with it the scent of pine and snow. The deeper you go, the more you feel that this land isn't just beautiful, it's alive. At the upper ridge, a small wooden hut stands alone, overlooking everything. It's simple, unchanged for decades. The door creaks as you open it. Inside, a single window frames the valley, capturing a view so perfect it feels like the world froze just for this moment. You sit for a while, letting the silence sink in. The mountains glow in the afternoon light, their shadows stretching long across the earth. It's a reminder that sometimes the greatest beauty isn't loud or dramatic. It's the quiet peace that comes from being surrounded by nature's timeless power. As the day fades, the sky transforms into hues of orange, purple, and gold. The valley below becomes a sea of color. The lake reflects the sky like a second sunset. And as darkness slowly settles, the first stars appear soft, distant, and endless. Standing there, you realize that this chapter is not just about exploring a landscape. It's about reconnecting with something deeper inside yourself. Something we often forget in the rush of daily life. Because true beauty doesn't just capture your eyes, it captures your soul. This country hides landscapes so surreal, they look like concept art from a fantasy film. Show caves, gorges, thermal waters, rare ecosystems, wildlife, national parks, and natural monuments. What if the heart of this journey wasn't found in mountains or forests, but in the stories of the people themselves? What if the real beauty of this country is not only what you see, but the way its culture breathes through? Its music, its food, and its traditions. In this chapter, we step into a world where every sound, every smile, and every flavor tells a story older than memory. Stay with me, because this is where the country truly comes alive. As you enter the next town, the atmosphere instantly shifts. The streets are narrower, paved with cobblestones that echo under each step. The buildings are painted in earthy tones, warm terracotta, deep ochre, soft brown, each one adorned with wooden balconies and small flower pots overflowing with color. This place feels intimate, like a living museum where history and modern life merge seamlessly. The morning market is where the true rhythm of the town begins. Stalls line the square, covered with vibrant fabrics blowing gently in the wind. The scent of freshly baked bread mixes with the smell of roasted peppers, herbs, and sweet pastries. Vendors greet each other like family. Children run between stalls, laughing, and musicians, sitting casually on low stools, play melodies that carry across the entire square, soft, soulful, and undeniably alive. You approach a stall offering traditional dishes, each one prepared with recipes passed down through generations. A warm bowl of homemade stew is placed in your hands. It's rich, flavorful, comforting. As you eat, the vendor tells you how their grandmother taught them this recipe when they were barely tall enough to reach the table. Every ingredient, they explain, carries a memory. Every flavor is a piece of the past. And suddenly, food becomes something deeper than taste. It becomes connection. A local guide leads you down a quiet alley where a small cultural center hosts a performance every afternoon. The room is simple wooden chairs, stone walls, a single spotlight illuminating the center. The performance begins with the soft hum of traditional instruments. Then comes the rhythmic tapping of shoes against the floor. Dancers enter the room, wearing garments embroidered with intricate patterns. Their movements are precise, yet filled with emotion, telling stories of love, struggle, courage, and celebration without a single spoken word. The energy is electric. You can feel the floor vibrate beneath your feet as the music intensifies. The dancers move in perfect harmony, their expressions fierce and determined. Every step seems to echo through the walls, pulling you deeper into their story. By the time the performance ends, the entire room is silent, everyone caught in the spell of the moment. After the performance, the dancers welcome you with warm smiles. They explain that these traditions are not just performances. They are a way of preserving identity, a way of honoring ancestors. Their pride is unmistakable. You realize that this culture isn't simply surviving, it's thriving, evolving, and inspiring the next generation. As the sun begins to set, the town transforms again. Lanterns glow softly along the streets. Restaurants fill with locals gathering for dinner, sharing stories and laughter. The air becomes cooler, but the warmth of the community surrounds you. You sit at a small outdoor table, watching life unfold around you, a couple sharing dessert, elders sipping tea, a group of teenagers playing music near the fountain. It feels real. It feels human. Later that night, a family invites you to join their home for a traditional dinner. The moment you step inside, you're greeted with warmth. Not the kind that comes from a fireplace, but the warmth of kindness, of belonging. The table is covered with home-cooked dishes, roasted vegetables, soft cheese, fresh bread still warm from the oven. Each dish holds a story, and as they explain them to you, you begin to understand their deep connection to their land, their heritage, and each other. Laughter fills the room. Stories flow effortlessly. The night stretches on, not in a rush, but in a gentle, unhurried rhythm. You realize that this family isn't just sharing food, they're sharing a piece of their life, a piece of their heart. And in that moment, you feel something profound. The world is full of differences, but kindness feels the same everywhere. When you step back outside, the sky is filled with stars. The town sleeps quietly beneath their soft glow. And as you walk through the silent streets, you feel changed not because of the landscapes you've seen, but because of the people who welcomed you like one of their own. Because at the end of every journey, what stays with you the longest are the human stories. Beauty isn't only found in landscapes, it lives in people, traditions, and the rhythm of everyday life. Explore music, food, rituals, crafts, festivals, and the warmth of local communities. What if one of the most breathtaking landscapes on Earth wasn't on postcards or travel brochures, but hidden deep within the heart of this country? What if the real wonder wasn't just what you could see, but what you could feel standing in a place untouched, untouched by noise, untouched by time? In this chapter, we venture into some of the most dramatic natural formations this region has ever carved, landscapes so unreal you may question whether they belong to this planet at all. As the journey continues, the road begins to climb. Forests become denser, shadows deepen, and the temperature gently drops. Ahead, towering cliffs rise with overwhelming majesty. These mountains aren't just mountains. They are ancient fortresses carved by wind, water, and centuries of silent endurance. Their rugged surfaces catch the sunlight in streaks of gold and silver, creating patterns that shift with every passing cloud. You arrive at a viewpoint so vast, the world seems to open beneath your feet. The valley stretches endlessly, painted in rich greens and soft blues. A river snakes through the center, glistening like a silver ribbon, dividing forests, cliffs, and open meadows. The wind carries the scent of pine and cold stone, pure and invigorating. You stand there for a moment, speechless, because sometimes nature speaks louder than words ever could. A narrow trail leads deeper into the wilderness. Every step takes you closer to landscapes that feel untouched, unclaimed. Leaves rustle gently under your feet. Sunlight filters through the trees, creating shifting mosaics across the forest floor. Birds call out from the treetops, their echoes fading into the distance. The deeper you go, the more the outside world disappears. Eventually, the trail opens into a scene that looks like a cinematic masterpiece, a massive canyon carved into the earth. Its walls rise like giant stone pillars, layered in shades of copper, rust, and charcoal. The river at its base roars with unstoppable force, sculpting the land inch by inch. You walk along the edge, captivated by the power of nature, feeling the vibration of the water pounding below. A suspension bridge stretches across the canyon, swaying gently in the wind. You step onto it slowly, and the world beneath you comes alive. Water crashes against boulders. Mist rises in soft clouds, brushing against your skin. It's a moment suspended between fear and exhilaration, a reminder of how small we are compared to the earth that carries us. On the other side of the bridge, the landscape changes again. Towering rock formations rise like colossal sculptures. Some are narrow, needle-like structures, piercing toward the sky. Others resemble massive stone towers, shaped by centuries of wind. There's something mystical about this place, as if it holds secrets, waiting to be discovered only by those willing to walk far enough. A guide explains the legends tied to these formations. Stories of warriors, giants, and ancient spirits echo through the centuries, passed from generation to generation. You listen, fascinated, realizing that these stones aren't just geological wonders, they are storytellers. Their shapes, their shadows, their presence, everything here whispers fragments of history. As the journey continues, you reach a hidden waterfall cascading from the mountains above. Its water flows in a smooth, powerful sheet, crashing into a deep blue pool. The sound is thunderous, yet calming, like nature's heartbeat pulsing through the canyon. Sunlight cuts through the mist, creating fleeting rainbows that appear and disappear before your eyes. You dip your hands into the water. It's shockingly cold, refreshing, alive. Nearby, a small wooden platform offers a resting spot. You sit quietly, watching the water fall in an endless cycle. Time feels different here. Slower, deeper. The world beyond these cliffs seems distant, irrelevant. Here, surrounded by raw earth and flowing water, you feel something profound. A sense of grounding, of clarity, of connection to the natural world. As you begin the hike back, the sky shifts into warm hues of sunset. The mountains glow with shades of amber and rose. The river turns into glass, reflecting the changing colors like a mirror. The entire canyon takes on a dreamlike quality, as if the landscape itself is preparing to sleep beneath the stars. When you reach the viewpoint again, the valley looks even more breathtaking than before. Lights from distant villages flicker like tiny stars scattered across the land. The air grows still. The world feels peaceful, calm, whole, and in that quiet moment, standing above a landscape shaped by thousands of years, you understand something powerful. Beauty isn't always loud. Sometimes it's hidden in silence, in shadows, in the wild places that remain untouched. Sometimes, the most stunning wonders are the ones you must earn step by step, breath by breath. Here, nature doesn't just surround you, it humbles you. It reminds you that the world is vast, ancient, and magnificent, and your journey through it is only just beginning. Some cities shine under daylight, but truly come alive when the sun goes down. Modern capitals, riverside districts, nightlife, street food, markets, art scenes, and vibrant local life. What if you could walk through a city where every stone has witnessed empires rise and fall, where legends breathe through the walls, and where the past feels so alive it follows you through the streets? This is the chapter where history isn't something you read, it's something you step into, something that surrounds you, something that pulls you closer with every heartbeat. Because some places don't just preserve their past, they live it. As the next part of the journey unfolds, the horizon shifts from wild landscapes to ancient architecture. Towering fortresses begin to appear, standing guard over rivers and red rooftops. Their silhouettes stretch across the skyline, shaped by centuries of battles, victories, and secrets. When you approach, the weight of history becomes unmistakable. Massive stone walls rise around you, weathered, cracked, but unbroken. You enter through an arched gateway, and immediately the world transforms. Narrow cobblestone lanes lead into a maze of winding streets. Wooden shutters open onto bustling courtyards. Terracotta roofs glisten under the afternoon sun. You can almost hear the echoes of footsteps from centuries ago, soldiers, merchants, travelers, each leaving behind a trace that still lingers today. The first landmark appears like something out of a storybook. An ancient fortress perched atop a hill, its towers reaching toward the sky. Its stone blocks, massive and irregular, are arranged with the kind of precision modern builders still marvel at. Inside, long corridors stretch into darkness. You walk slowly, your footsteps bouncing off the cold walls. It feels like entering a time capsule, where every doorway carries a memory and every window frames a moment in history. From the fortress walls, the entire city spreads below rooftops stacked tightly together, winding streets weaving like veins, and a river curving gently through the heart of it all. The breeze carries sounds of life. Distant conversations, music from street performers, the gentle ringing of church bells. Time feels fluid here, existing in layers. Past and present move together in a delicate dance. Descending into the old town, the charm becomes even more captivating. Elegant balconies hang over busy markets where vendors display handmade crafts, vibrant textiles, and fresh local produce. The aroma of baked bread, roasted coffee, and traditional dishes fills the air. People sit at small cafes, talking, laughing, sipping slowly as if no one is in a hurry. There's a calmness in the rhythm of daily life that feels refreshing. A narrow passage leads to a hidden courtyard draped in vines and shadows. At its center stands a centuries-old well, carved with intricate patterns. Local stories say travelers would gather here to share news, blessings, and sometimes warnings. Today, the place is quiet, but the energy remains an invitation to pause, breathe, and imagine the countless lives that once intersected here. As you continue exploring, the architecture changes again. Roman influences blend with Ottoman design. Orthodox domes rise beside medieval towers. Gothic arches meet Renaissance details. This city is not just one culture, it is many civilizations layered together like pages of a book written over thousands of years. And every time the light shifts, a new chapter reveals itself. You reach a historic square surrounded by monumental buildings. Their facades are decorated with ornate carvings, statues, and inscriptions that speak of royal ceremonies, political gatherings, and dramatic turning points. In the center, a fountain sprays glittering arcs of water. Children play nearby while artists paint the view on small canvases. The square feels alive, timeless, warm. Just beyond the square lies an ancient bridge made of stone, each block placed with meticulous care. Its arches reflect beautifully in the water below, forming perfect circles. Crossing it feels symbolic, like stepping from the present into another era. On the other side, the scenery changes again. Charming houses, quiet gardens, and older quarters where traditions remain untouched by time. The sun begins to set, casting a golden glow over everything. Shadows stretch across the streets. Lanterns flicker to life one by one. Musicians appear with guitars and violins, filling the air with soft, haunting melodies. It's a moment that feels suspended neither day nor night, but something in between, something magical. From a hilltop viewpoint, the entire city lights up. Golden domes shimmer, bridges glow. Streets form glowing rivers of light. The world below becomes a tapestry of warm, inviting colors. You stand there, mesmerized, understanding why travelers return again and again, not just for what they see, but for what they feel here. A sense of belonging, of connection, of stepping into a story larger than themselves. And as night settles in, the city doesn't fall asleep, it transforms. The music grows softer, the lights become brighter. The air cools and carries whispers of ancient tales. This is a place where history never fades. It only becomes more beautiful. This chapter leaves you with one truth. Some cities are not meant to be visited quickly. They are meant to be experienced slowly, deeply, wholeheartedly. Because when a place carries centuries of human spirit, it becomes more than a destination. It becomes a living memory. In a world racing forward, there are still places where time gently slows down. Show remote valleys, traditional homes, slow-living communities, and peaceful rural beauty. What if the greatest surprise of this entire journey wasn't a city, a monument, or a mountain, but the spirit of the people themselves? What if the true heart of this country wasn't built from stone or carved by nature, but shaped by warmth, resilience, and connection? In this chapter, we discover something far more powerful than landscapes. The soul of a nation, alive in its traditions, its culture, and its everyday life. As dawn breaks over the countryside, the world awakens slowly. Gentle rays of sunlight spill across rolling hills, illuminating vineyards, orchards, and open fields. Thin trails of smoke rise from chimneys as families prepare breakfast. The air carries a soft blend of aromas, fresh bread, simmering soups, herbal teas. Even before the day begins, you feel something unmistakable. A quiet harmony, a sense of belonging that settles around you like a warm embrace. Driving through rural villages, you notice how time moves differently here. Elderly men gather outside corner shops, talking, laughing, sharing stories. Women carry baskets of vegetables from gardens behind their homes. Children chase each other in wide fields, their voices echoing through the valley. Life is simple, but rich, full of moments that reveal what truly matters. Family, community, connection. A local family invites you into their home, a gesture that feels natural here, where hospitality isn't a custom but a way of life. The moment you enter, the house fills with laughter and conversation. Handmade textiles cover the walls. Wooden furniture passed down through generations fills the room. The table is set with traditional dishes, slowly cooked meats, warm bread, fresh cheeses, and vibrant spreads made from peppers and herbs grown steps away from the kitchen door. Every bite tells a story. Recipes taught by grandmothers. Ingredients harvested from local soil. Meals shared not just to nourish, but to bring people together. In this place, food isn't rushed. It's celebrated. It's respected. It's a reminder that culture survives when it is tasted, shared, and passed forward. After the meal, music begins soft, rhythmic, alive. Someone picks up a traditional instrument, its strings echoing warmly through the room. Another joins with a drum. The melody builds, weaving old and new in perfect harmony. Soon, everyone is clapping, singing, even dancing. The steps are simple but full of meaning, movements preserved through centuries of celebrations and hardships. You realize something beautiful. This culture doesn't merely survive, it thrives. In the music, in the dance, in the stories whispered at night and shouted with joy during festivals. It lives through people who carry pride in their history, strength in their identity, and warmth in their hearts. Leaving the village, the journey continues toward a cultural center in a nearby town. Inside, artisans work with incredible focus. A woodcarver shapes detailed patterns into a piece of oak, each cut precise and purposeful. A potter molds clay, with skill passed through generations. A weaver sits at an old wooden loom, weaving threads into vibrant fabrics that reflect the colors of the land. These crafts aren't just objects, they're the language of history. Each pattern, each symbol, each stroke represents beliefs, memories, and lessons. Through their work, the artisans keep heritage alive, not out of obligation, but out of love. You watch them, mesmerized, understanding that culture is more than tradition, it is identity made visible. Nearby, a group of teenagers practice folk dances for an upcoming festival. Their faces glow with excitement. They move with energy and pride, showing that heritage is not fading, it's being embraced by a new generation. You feel hope here, continuity, a bridge between the past and the future. As the day progresses, you visit a local market bustling with life. Stalls overflow with handmade goods, fresh produce, wild honey, herbal teas, and natural soaps. Vendors greet you with warm smiles and genuine curiosity. Their voices are lively, their gestures expressive. Every conversation feels like meeting an old friend. You sense a deep connection between people and their land, every fruit grown with care, every craft made with intention. Later, as evening falls, the journey brings you to a hill overlooking the countryside. The sun dips low, painting the sky with shades of orange, pink, and deep lavender. Villages glow softly in the distance. The world becomes quiet, almost sacred. You reflect on everything you've seen. Landscapes, cities, monuments, all of it breathtaking. But this feeling of human warmth is what sets this country apart. It's what transforms a beautiful place into an unforgettable one. Because landscapes may astonish you, but people inspire you. Cultures connect you. Stories stay with you long after you leave. As darkness settles, a breeze moves gently through the fields, carrying faint echoes of distant music. The night feels alive, but peaceful. You take a deep breath of the cool air, appreciating the quiet magic of this moment. And you understand the deeper truth. The most stunning countries aren't defined only by beauty, they're defined by their heart. And here, that heart beats strong. After everything you've seen, the real question is not whether this country is stunning. It's why the world hasn't discovered it yet. A profound conclusion, tying landscapes, culture, people, and emotion into a cinematic final message. What if the journey we've taken through mountains, rivers, forests, and cities all led to this single truth? That beauty is not just seen, but experienced, felt, and carried within you? This final chapter is not about reaching the end, it's about understanding the essence of this land, the heartbeat of its people, and the way its landscapes leave an indelible mark on your soul. Because some places are not just destinations, they are transformations. The morning begins with the first light, spilling across a valley so wide and so breathtaking. It feels like the earth itself is awakening just for you. Mist rises gently from the forests and rivers below, curling like delicate smoke around the hills. The mountains in the distance glow faintly, their peaks sharp, confident, and eternal. Standing here, you realize that this country is a masterpiece of contrasts, wild yet welcoming, ancient yet alive, quiet yet endlessly expressive. Descending from the peaks, the journey leads to a hidden waterfall tucked deep in a canyon. Water crashes with a force that feels both terrifying and exhilarating. Mist sprays across your face as you approach, cold and electric. Rocks worn smooth by centuries of flow tell stories of endurance, patience, and time's relentless passage. And yet, in its strength, the waterfall teaches something more. Even force can be graceful. Even raw power can inspire awe. Walking along the rivers that wind through the valleys, the reflection of the sky shimmers in every pool. Trees bow toward the water, and the air is filled with the scent of pine, whetstone, and earth warmed by the sun. Every ripple in the water seems to whisper the same message. This land is alive. Every inch of it, every rock, every blade of grass. You feel connected, as if the earth is breathing in unison with your own heartbeat. The next stop brings you to a village perched at the edge of the mountains. Its wooden houses, cobblestone streets, and friendly faces feel like a living postcard. Children run freely through the squares, calling to each other in melodic voices. Elders sit outside cafes, sharing stories that stretch back generations. And everywhere, the culture hums quietly alive, proud and enduring. This is not a place frozen in time, but a place that treasures its history while embracing the present. In the late afternoon, you find yourself in a wide meadow surrounded by peaks, where wildflowers sway in a gentle breeze. Sunlight turns the petals into tiny flames of red, yellow, and violet. A small group of shepherds tend their flocks, their movements careful and practiced. The sheep move almost rhythmically, like an extension of the natural order. This scene feels intimate, timeless, a secret that the land has been holding for centuries. Here, you realize the true rhythm of this country, the delicate balance between human life and nature, where both exist in harmony. As evening descends, the journey takes you to the heart of the city, where history and modernity coexist. Ancient fortresses, ornate cathedrals, and narrow streets bathed in golden light show a civilization that honors its past while moving toward the future. Cafes fill with laughter and conversation. Musicians play under arches, their notes drifting like whispers through the alleys. Lanterns flicker to life, casting warm pools of light across cobblestones. You feel the pulse of this city, not just its energy, but its soul. And then comes the final moment, the hilltop viewpoint that captures everything at once. Below, valleys, rivers, forests, and villages stretch endlessly. Mountains rise and fall, their silhouettes softened by fading light. The sky transforms into a breathtaking canvas of oranges, pinks, purples, and deep blues. Clouds drift lazily, reflecting the glow of the setting sun. Every element is in harmony, every shadow, every ray of light, every movement of wind in perfect balance. Standing there, you reflect on the journey. You have seen power in waterfalls, serenity in lakes, strength in mountains, and warmth in the people. You have experienced landscapes untouched by time, streets steeped in history, and cultures alive with tradition. The country has shown itself not just as a collection of sights, but as a living, breathing organism full of wonder, mystery, and heart. As darkness settles, stars emerge across the sky, shining brightly above the peaks and rivers. Lanterns flicker in the towns below, and the faint echo of music drifts on the cool night air. It is a moment of perfect stillness and profound beauty. You realize that the journey will stay with you not in photographs or souvenirs, but in the way it has shifted your perception of the world and your sense of wonder forever. And as you take a final, deep breath of the crisp night air, you understand the truth that this entire journey has been trying to teach. The most stunning places are not just found, they are felt, and their memory remains long after you leave. Because some countries don't just show you beauty, they change the way you see it. As night deepens, the landscape transforms yet again. Mountains and rivers, villages and forests all take on a new, almost mystical character. Shadows stretch long and soft, merging with the silver light of the moon. The air is crisp, carrying the scent of pine, wildflowers, and damp earth. It is in this quiet hour that the land speaks most clearly, revealing its secrets to those willing to pause and listen. A gentle hike along a moonlit trail takes you closer to the hidden corners of this country. Craggy cliffs rise to the sky, while valleys below are cloaked in a soft, silvery haze. You pause at a quiet stream, its water glimmering like molten silver. The sound of flowing water is amplified in the stillness, echoing off nearby stones. Standing there, you realize the world is full of wonders that are not meant for the rush of day, but for the calm reflection of night. Further along, you reach an ancient village perched on the edge of a plateau. Lanterns flicker softly in windows. Smoke curls from chimneys, blending with the crisp night air. Streets are silent, but the life within the houses is palpable. Families gathered around warm meals, laughter floating up through cracks in the shutters, the faint strumming of a guitar echoing from a courtyard. These moments are intimate, fleeting, and profound. They capture the essence of a culture that thrives not in spectacle, but in authenticity, in connection, in the simple act of living fully in the present. Crossing a small bridge over a reflective river, you notice the water mirrors the night sky so perfectly that it feels like the stars themselves are flowing beneath your feet. The sensation is surreal, almost otherworldly. You are reminded that this country, with all its beauty, is more than a collection of landscapes. It is a symphony of light, water, stone, and human spirit. Every element moves in harmony, creating a feeling of unity between the earth and those who inhabit it. The journey then leads to a secluded canyon, where the waterfalls you saw by day now take on a ghostly, ethereal presence under the moonlight. Their cascading water glows faintly, as if lit from within. Mist rises in delicate waves, swirling around the rocks and clinging to the trees. The air vibrates with the subtle sound of flowing water, a constant reminder that the land is alive, persistent, and eternal. You step closer, letting the cool spray touch your skin, feeling connected to a rhythm far older than yourself. Climbing to a high ridge, you look back over the path you have traveled. Valleys, villages, rivers, and forests stretch endlessly, each scene bathed in soft lunar glow. The scale of it is humbling. You feel small in the grand design of the world, yet intimately connected to it, a witness to a beauty that has endured for centuries. The landscape whispers lessons of patience, resilience, and the quiet majesty of nature. As midnight approaches, you reach a final viewpoint, a peak overlooking everything. From this vantage point, the land seems infinite. The mountains roll endlessly. Forests ripple in shadow. Rivers shine like ribbons of silver, and distant villages glow softly like fireflies. The wind moves gently across your face, carrying a faint, earthy scent that ties together the mountains, valleys, and streams. You feel a profound sense of completion. This is the culmination of a journey not measured in miles, but in the depth of experience, the breadth of sight, and the richness of feeling. Sitting quietly, the stars above begin to mirror themselves in every reflective surface below. Each twinkle, each flicker of light seems to remind you that beauty exists simultaneously everywhere, above, below, and within. And it is not just the grandeur of landscapes that leaves a lasting impression, but the way the land, the people, and their stories are intertwined, creating a living, breathing masterpiece. And as the first hints of dawn appear on the horizon, soft, pink and gold light stretching across the mountains and valleys, you understand something vital. Journeys like these do more than reveal a country's beauty. They reveal your own capacity to wonder, to feel, and to remember. This land does not simply impress. It transforms. It teaches patience, humility, and reverence for the extraordinary that exists in the ordinary. The night gives way to morning, and the country awakens again. Quiet rivers ripple, birds call from treetops, villagers begin their routines, and the mountains glow in new light. You take one last deep breath of the cool air, carrying the memories of every step, every view, every heartbeat of this journey. And you know this: the country you leave behind will never truly leave you. Its rivers, mountains, forests, cities, and people will continue to live inside your memory, shaping how you see the world forever. Because some places are not just seen, they are felt. Not just visited, but experienced. Not just remembered, but carried within you, endlessly. And this country, with all its hidden wonders, does exactly that. As the morning sun fully rises, casting golden light across valleys, rivers, and mountains, a profound stillness takes hold. The land stretches endlessly, a canvas of untamed beauty, and you realize that the true essence of this journey is not merely the sights you have seen, but the feeling it has awakened within you. Every step, every breath, every heartbeat has been a part of the story this country has been telling for centuries. You walk along a quiet hillside where wildflowers nod gently in the breeze, and the distant mountains stand like eternal guardians. Each flower, each blade of grass, seems to carry a memory of the land, soft, resilient, enduring. The wind carries whispers of ancient legends, stories passed from one generation to the next, and as you listen, you feel the presence of the countless lives that have shaped this country. It is humbling, grounding, and awe-inspiring all at once. Reaching a small lake tucked between rolling hills, you kneel at the shore to see your reflection shimmer on its surface. The water is so still it feels like a mirror to your soul. As the sunlight dances across gentle ripples, you realize that this country has not just shown you its landscapes, it has reflected back your own curiosity, wonder, and openness. You see not only the beauty of the land, but also the transformation that has taken place inside yourself. The journey now leads you to a historic city perched on a hilltop. Its streets wind gracefully between centuries-old buildings, stone staircases, and sun-drenched squares. Bells ring from distant towers, echoing across the rooftops. Markets buzz softly with life as vendors set up for the day. The energy is alive yet calm, vibrant yet measured. Here, past and present coexist in harmony, teaching that history is not only preserved in buildings and monuments, but also in the rhythms of everyday life. Exploring narrow lanes, you discover artisans at work, potters shaping clay, weavers creating intricate fabrics, and woodworkers carving delicate patterns. Every movement is deliberate, every creation steeped in heritage. You begin to understand that these crafts are more than objects. They are vessels of culture, continuity, and human spirit. In the hands of these artisans, centuries of history come alive, tangible and beautiful. A short walk leads to a lively square where music fills the air. Street performers play traditional instruments with passion, their melodies weaving seamlessly with the soft hum of daily life. Children dance freely, elders watch with gentle smiles, and visitors are drawn into the warmth of this community. It is here, amid laughter and music, that the intangible heart of this country reveals itself, the vibrancy, resilience, and joy of its people. As afternoon turns to evening, you climb a ridge overlooking the city and the surrounding countryside. The setting sun bathes the landscape in hues of gold, pink, and lavender. Rivers glimmer like silver threads, villages glow softly, and the mountains cast long, majestic shadows. Every element is illuminated in perfect harmony, and the scene feels almost otherworldly, as though the land itself is presenting a final gift to those who have journeyed through it. The night falls slowly. Stars begin to scatter across the sky, mirrored by lights twinkling in the valleys below. The air is filled with the subtle sounds of nature, the rustle of trees, the distant call of a night bird, the soft murmur of flowing water. You breathe deeply, feeling an intimate connection to the world around you. It is a moment of quiet reflection, of gratitude, and of awe. In these final hours, you realize that this country has given you more than memories of landscapes or cities. It has given you perspective, wonder, and a sense of belonging. You have walked among mountains, rivers, forests, and streets, but you have also walked within the history, culture, and spirit of this land. Every moment has shaped your experience, leaving a lasting impression on your heart and mind. And as you look one last time at the horizon, you know this journey is not truly over. The memories, the emotions, and the lessons will travel with you, quietly influencing how you see the world. Because some places are not only destinations, they are transformations. They live within you long after you leave. And this country, with all its hidden wonders, enduring traditions, and breathtaking landscapes, is one of those rare places. A place that does not just show you beauty, it changes the way you feel it, the way you carry it, and the way you remember it forever. As the journey draws to a close, you stand at the edge of valleys and rivers, under skies filled with stars, and realize that this country has left its mark not only on your eyes, but on your heart. You have seen mountains that pierce the sky, forests untouched by time, waterfalls that thunder with life, and cities where history breathes through every street. But the true beauty lies not only in what you saw, but in what you felt: the warmth of its people, the rhythms of its culture, the quiet majesty of landscapes that inspire awe and reflection. Every moment has been a reminder that the world is bigger, older, and more magnificent than we often imagine. As night turns to dawn, the memories of this journey will travel with you, hidden in your thoughts, carried in your emotions, alive in your imagination. And while this adventure ends here, the spirit of this country, its wonders, and its stories will remain with you forever. Because some places aren't just destinations, they are transformations. They change the way you see the world, the way you feel life, and the way you carry beauty within yourself. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed exploring Prague as much as I enjoyed guiding you through it. If you found this travel guide helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more beautiful destinations from around the world. Got a favorite spot in Prague? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, safe travels, and see you in the next video.